Hello. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Connie. I am a furniture painter. I'm also a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle Paints. And I'm just going to give you a small disclaimer at the start of this video. This could be the shortest live video that has ever existed because I am due to take delivery of a new washing machine today, this afternoon. The time slot that was given was between 1 and 4, and I'm not sure that there was a worse time of day for a delivery to happen, mainly because I go live today on my YouTube channel, which is of course a Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and the other reason is because I have to get my children from school in that time slot as well. So I've had to keep the doors open. Normally I shut them. Hi Jackie, hi Anne-Marie. I normally keep the doors closed and shut myself in here so there's no distractions, no background noise, or as very little as possible. But I've had to keep it open in case the door goes and it's my new washing machine, because I have been without my washing machine for 4 days and I can't. My old washing machine's broken, everything's breaking and needs replacing, and I need it. So if it comes when I'm picking the kids up, it's tough because, as you all know, I have no vehicle, or you may not know. If you saw me on Dixie Belle's YouTube channel yesterday, you might have caught the story of the van. The chronicles of the knackered T5 van continue. You'll never guess. If you didn't watch yesterday, you will never guess what's happened. So we're on engine rebuild number 2 in less than 3 months' time between each other. It basically died on the way to Devon when we were towing our caravan on our family holiday in August. And we just had the engine rebuilt. So your apology is accepted, Jackie. I'll fill you in on the story, even if no one else is listening, because it is a form of therapy for me, talking to you, telling you all my woes. Also, I need to just twist that round. Come on. There we go. So I can just pop you down. There we go. I am going to paint this door. Just listen. Listen to my van issue. So, anyway, engine got rebuilt. We went on holiday, broke down halfway. Engine is currently it's been rebuilt, taken out of the van. It's been rebuilt. It was due to go in the van this week. I was due to get it back next week, maybe. Get a phone call from my mechanic. Well, Andy did. The unit where the van is has been broken into. And basically the roller shutter door on his unit has been rammed into with a truck. Guess what was in front of the roller shutter door? The van! You literally couldn't write this story. This time last year, or maybe a little bit earlier than this time last year, got back off our holiday, got rammed into by somebody when I was taking the kids to my mum's house. The van was off the road for months. It wasn't my fault. She had full liability of the accident. Was that the door? No. So the van was off the road then. Then we had the engine rebuilt, chose to have the engine rebuilt because it was getting a little bit tired and there was some issues with it. That was what was needed. We were told, you do this, your van's good for another 10, 15 years easy. They're built like they're bulletproof, that's the one, bulletproof. Okay, so we're on engine rebuild number 2. Now, it's been subject to, obviously, they could have taken it. The thieves could have taken the van and done me a favour, I'll be honest. That would have been the best scenario, I'm not going to lie. But now we have a potentially damaged van. The mechanic isn't allowed to work on it because he can't secure the unit because the roller shutter door's massively damaged. He's not even allowed back in his unit because the police are doing forensics in there because obviously there's fingerprints and stuff, so they're not even allowed. I don't know the state of what the van is in. Nobody actually knows. So I'm going to go and view a car tomorrow because I can't deal with it. I've got to go and get the kids and it's raining. It's chucking it down with rain. One comes out at 3:20. One comes out at 4:20 because they've got sports after school. I can't deal with it. There's a reason that I've got so much grey hair. Right, let's paint. So last week I did this stool. Started on this stool. Oh no, I've got red paint everywhere. As you know, I am vertically challenged. I did say short last week, and someone did correct me in the comments and say vertically challenged. So we're going with vertically challenged. I am vertically challenged to take after my father on that aspect. So I've got one of these little bad boys upstairs and also got one downstairs. And I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. That was very silly of me. Bear with. Okay, the phone is on Do Not Disturb. Because you know what will happen if I don't put it on that. So I have one of these step stools upstairs, one downstairs. The one upstairs, I will do at a later date. That's very sorry for itself. It's got drips of paint all over it where I've used it for decorating and everything. This one's for the kitchen. I've done some pieces for my kitchen in red, so I'm going to do this in red as well. I've also got one of these. What's one of these, you ask? This is a beeswax block. You can just make out it says beeswax there. So I'm going to use this to basically act as a resist. Yeah, I think somebody is sending me a message to get a different van. That van is cursed. Honestly, the amount of problems that we have had with that van since we got it is ridiculous. So it can take as long as it needs now, and I'm going to go and view a different vehicle tomorrow, not a van. Anyway, beeswax block. This is obviously wax. Wax resists water-based paint. And what you can do is make your piece look super chippy if you use this between layers of paint, or if you want to see the bare wood underneath, you can use this straight over a prepped piece and then paint, and then where you kind of sand back, it will pull back the paint super easy and give you kind of a chippy look. So base of this was drop cloth, and I did that last week, and I mixed some sea spray in with it because this stool has seen better days. I've had it for years and it is a bit battered. So I mixed in some sea spray. I used drop cloth because it's a warm off-white. It's kind of got an antique vibe to it. It also is really good coverage. So this is covered in one coat. You can see red because literally 20 minutes before my this live, I flipped this upside down and did the underneath of everything so that that's done. And then I'll do the kind of tops and the bits you can see, because you don't want to see me doing the underneath of a piece. That's just boring. So I'm just going to rub this. You can see how gnarled it is. It's a bit worn, and they last forever because it is hard. It's rock hard. You can also use a candle. I have used Big Mama's butter because obviously that's an oil-based product, but you can be less precise with Big Mama's butter. This one, because it's so sort of hard, what I like to do is just rub it along the corners and the edges. Trying to do that with Big Mama's butter, because it's a softer consistency, it kind of wants to spread out a lot. So if you did want it over a big area, then Big Mama's butter is fine. But it does tend to want to, and it also kind of melts in because it's obviously a very soft, it's got a low melting point. So it's a very soft wax. It kind of just melts in and smushes around. Whereas this, you can contain it to more specific areas if you want to. So I'm just going to add some wax here. Corners, edges. All around here, a little bit there, a little bit there. I'm covered in red paint. Around the back, around the little hole in the top here. And then I'm going to do some down here. Also, the thing that you can see underneath this step stool covered with this dust sheet is the piece that's going to be the edited video on my YouTube channel this week. And are we allowed new favourites every week? I don't know. I know I say it a lot, but this is, it's so pretty. And I've used purple, and I never use purple. So I can give you a little sneak peek if you want, but only because it's you. Oh, look at it. There's no green, but there is a lot of blue. There's mermaid tail, there's cobalt, there is fluff. I used a little bit of white here. There is also aubergine. Look at this corner down here. Oh my days. I absolutely love this makeover. And mermaid tail is green. It's a turquoise, Jackie. Come on. Let's not. This has been really easy to do. So this will be, and you can also, I don't know if you can you see the wood grain through it? Can you? Not sure. You can, I can. You can still see the wood grain because it's basically been done with lots and lots of washes of paint. So I watered down. I'm telling you now, you can tune into the video and watch it then. Cover that back up. Stay on topic. Pop that back. That just fits on there. So I've covered it up because I am a bit of a paint flicker. I'm not going to lie. I tend to get paint all over the place. This staging wall has to get repainted. It's not green. It is not green. It's turquoise. It's sitting, where is it sitting on my shelf? It is sitting with the greens, but it's not green. It's turquoise. It's a bluey green. That's turquoise. And I'd say that's close to mermaid tail. It's not green, Jackie. Yeah, so that's going to be, nope, that's not the door. Don't argue with me, whatever. That's going to be the video this week. I've just got to basically, paint flicks are the worst. I know, I'm terrible. This staging wall has to get repainted all the time because I am a little bit of a messy painter. I've got paint everywhere already, look. All over my top. I don't know how, you know when people do videos and they do it in really nice clothes. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? How are you not getting paint everywhere? I'm terrible for it. If the door does go, my dogs will go crazy and then the live will be over. Just in case you've joined since I started. I'm due a new washing machine to be delivered. Of course, it's being delivered at the most inconvenient time ever, which is now between 1 and 4. There couldn't have been a worse time. I've been in all morning, not needing to. How can one be creative without making a mess? Exactly. So, yeah, I haven't needed to, be live or anything like that this morning. Could have been delivered then. Was that the door? Or was that dog sneezing? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to put you on to the best red in the world. Hi, Dennis. Hello. So, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the best red I have ever used, bar none. The coverage of this red is phenomenal. So red notoriously takes normally 2 to 3, maybe 4 coats in some brands. I've had reds where I've had to use 4 coats before to get coverage. This bad boy covers in 1. Now, I know we're going over a fairly kind of decent colour to go over, but it does cover so well. And this has actually got water in it because look at the state. Hi, Tracy. Look at the state of my pot. Oh, there's a nice bit of green drip down it. This is quite an old pot. I've had it for a while. It's gone a little bit congealed, to say the least. This is basically to show you how not to store your paint pots. So I've added a little bit of water to it to loosen it up because the lid won't go on it properly. And some of the water had evaporated, so I've added a dab of water in, and even with that water added in, look how amazing that covers. I've never used a red that's covered so well. And it's a very, very vibrant, punchy red. It's an awesome colour. And painting in red always makes me feel better. I'm trying to do this with my left hand, it's not going to work. So when you've added your wax sort of resist in the areas that you want, you just go ahead and paint straight over it. Straight over the top. And you can add as many layers as you like. So if you don't want to just stick to a couple of colours. Oh, the dog started eating now out of a metal bowl on a tiled floor. So if you can hear background noise, that's what it is. The one that's always hungry. Which isn't Bella, actually. Bella's not the one that's always hungry, surprisingly. Well, she is, but not as bad as the old one. So, can you see how well that covers? So good. I won't need to do 2 coats of this. I genuinely will only need to do 1 because we're going to distress it, and then in the next live I'll do a bit of waxing. Do a bit of waxing with you, I think. I know Jackie likes to watch me wax. Don't make it weird. Good morning. I think it already is weird, if I'm honest, Jackie. You always say you like to watch me wax. So, I'm just saying what you said. I'm just saying what you said. I'm just repeating it. So if you like really, really punchy reds with amazing coverage, this is the one for you. I'm using the Dixie Belle Oval Medium synthetic brush, by the way, if anyone is interested. I always forget to tell people what brushes I'm using, and then I get comments on my video saying, what brush is that? And I'm like, oh yeah, should have said, shouldn't I? There you go. Zoom in. All my brushes are well used. Just going to get the last bit on this side. And then I'll do the top. Oh, missed a bit there. I've also got to do that side, but I'll do that in a bit. Just going to whack it on the top here. What I was really hoping is that I could find a bright red fridge to go with all of my other red things in my kitchen. But I don't want like a modern one. I'd want like a retro looking one. And I can't find one. Because, well, I can, but it was about £3 grand. Sorry, did someone ask a question and I missed it? The comments go so quickly on YouTube, it's ridiculous. Also, you like my jug? Found it in a little charity shop. How pretty is that? How pretty. What was the question? I missed it. Seems like Jackie's got it for me. Jackie pretty much knows. She knows the things. Your admin is here, thanks. Checked in the post. How pretty is that? It's only a couple of quid. Very English, cottagey kind of vibes going on. Right, let's blast this. And hope the door doesn't go. What I can show you actually is, let me turn it around. Oh no, don't get red paint on there. Red is not the vibe that I'm going for. What I can show you is a little bit of wet distressing. Because you know how I like to alternate my distressing. So all wet distressing is distressing when it's wet. You just need a rag or a shop cloth, and sometimes you might need a little bit of water just to kind of reactivate the paint if it started to dry off a little bit. But wet distressing is a much softer kind of way of distressing, and hopefully this should come back super easily, because there are areas that I've used obviously the wax resist, and it's just going to pull that red. It just basically means that the red paint isn't going to bond to the underneath of the drop cloth layer, which was the first layer, the cream, the off-white. The Honky Tonk Red won't stick to it. It's just going to basically lie on top of it until you pull it back with whatever kind of method that you want in terms of distressing. So wet distressing is when you distress the paint when it's wet, usually, like I say, with a rag, and you pull some of the paint off, and it gives you I'm gonna zoom in for you. It gives you a more kind of faded look. Can you see? Still got a little bit of hint of the red, but you've got the drop cloth and you can see all that kind of texture underneath. Dry distressing is when your paint's completely dry. You don't normally tend to call it dry distressing, or do you? I don't know. I don't. But that's when the paint is completely dry, and then you normally sand, or if you've got like a putty knife or a spatula, you can scrape away at the surface. And they do give two different effects. The dry method gives you more of like a chippy kind of look. It's a little bit more in your face, a little bit more kind of aggressive. That distressed edge will probably grab the dark wax better if you didn't do that. If I didn't do what? Whereas wet distressing gives you much more of a softer kind of look. But you don't just have to stick to one method of doing. You don't have to stick to one method of distressing on your piece. You can mix it up, match it up, mix it, match it, mix it up. What's the word? Mix it up? Is that right? I don't know. If you didn't wet distress that area, the black wax is going to grab no matter what, because I've still got paint underneath. But yeah, black wax over red is gonna look a beaut. It always does kind of look a beaut. So that's wet distressing. Let me blast it and I'll show you a bit of sandpaper action. See the difference. just remembered I was going to do crackle, wasn't I? And I forgot, haven't I? Oh well, I'll do it another time. Okay, let me get some sandpaper. I'll do crackle on something different. Something different. I'm back. I've got my sandpaper. I'm just using one of these. This is off my Festool. And it's 100 grit, this. The lower the grit number, the harsher the sandpaper, and the more paint it's going to pull off, the kind of grittier. Don't forget to give a thumbs up for the video. Yes, that'd be lovely, thank you. Obviously the grittier it's going to be, the more paint it's going to pull off, and the more kind of, I say harsh, I don't even know if that's the right word. Anyway, we're going to try it. Also, this is not going to be completely dry. Now, I've blasted it with a hairdryer, but as you know, paint takes a little bit longer than that to dry. But it's touch dry, so I hope you'll kind of get the idea. And it's always best when you're distressing, rough and aggressive. Oh, we're talking about the same thing now, Jackie. What are you on about? It's always a good idea when you're distressing to start gently, because it's easier to take more off than it is if you went in like a bull in a china shop. And you made it weird, Jackie. You made it weird, not me. If you go in all guns blazing like a bull in a china shop, which is quite often my method with most things, obviously then you go too far, you've then got to add more paint back on. It's not a problem. You can just layer the red paint back over the top. If you find an area and you think, oh no, it's a bit too much, you can just go back in with your colour, you know, your sort of top colour, in my case Honky Tonk Red. Go back in and kind of add to it, but it's easier to not do that. It's easier to just go gently. It's like when you're adding sea spray, start with a little bit and then you won't get a big ball of sticky mess like I normally do. So you just rub really gently, and like I say, where I've rubbed the wax, it's going to take back more of the paint than where I haven't rubbed the wax. And I always do circular motions in the corners like this and go the opposite way, because it gives quite a nice authentically worn corner, instead of kind of being very harsh and sort of jaggedy looking. It just wears the corners. Well, I think it looks authentic anyway. So I'm going to just, there we go. That's with the sandpaper. And you can see how easy that was. Obviously, we've only got one coat of Honky Tonk Red, and it's only been dry for a split second with a hairdryer. So, and then this is where I rubbed the wax along the edges, and then in the centre where I didn't rub any wax, obviously it's taken a little bit off. You could take a bit more off, and obviously if you rub even harder, you get the wood that's underneath. Or if you were to layer more than one or two colours up, you'd get all of those colours peeking through as well. So that's your sandpaper. That's your wet distress with the rag and the water. Hi Lisa, that is Honky Tonk Red. You are correct. Unfortunately, you don't win a prize. There are no prizes, but you are correct. Well done. So that's the wet distressing. Again, it's peeled back a little bit more on the top, which is where I put the wax. But it's a much kind of softer, kind of faded look versus that. It's a bit more scratchy looking. If that makes sense. Where are you? There you are. You're looking up at my ceiling then, at my fake wall where it meets the ceiling, look. Lovely straight line. So that is kind of the direction that I'm going to go. And like I say, you can layer up loads of different colours. So if you wanted to add a colour in between your drop cloth and your Honky Tonk Red, you could do that. And depending on how prominent you wanted that colour, you could add wax in between each layer, so that as you sand or wet distress, it kind of reveals each layer. You can put as many layers as you like. You could put 10 down if you wanted to. And then you can just gradually see them. Sometimes what looks really good, wow, that's a big old clump of paint there, Connie. Learn how to paint. Yes, it is early in the morning for you, isn't it? It is. Thank you for joining me so early. My face this close to the camera that early in the morning. I mean, you've got to have a pretty strong stomach to deal with that. What was I saying? Yes, what can look really authentic is if you layer up colours that are very, very close to one another. So if I went for a dark red, like rustic red or rusty nail, or even maybe barn red, and then put Honky Tonk Red over the top, the subtlety looks so good. And I was going to take a picture of that door, wasn't I? The really chippy door on the way to the school, on the school run, and I've forgotten. But likewise, 2 yellows like Colonel Mustard and Daisy layered over one another and then distressed back. It's subtle, but it works. It works. But opposite colours also work. Pink and green should always be seen. So that is basically what I have been up to. And what you don't want to do is distress with sandpaper where you are distressing onto a wet surface like this. This step bit is wet. I didn't dry it. So this step stool is red to complement accents in your kitchen, with the upstairs one be Ian Snow. Maybe. I don't know. I don't actually know what I'm going to do with the upstairs one yet. But I've just sanded here and it's gone straight onto this wet step. So I've got nice little bits of sanded paint on my step now. Oh well, I can fix it. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to continue doing. But you can see how it kind of just adds that little bit of like rusticness, if you know what I mean. And that's all I've really got for you today, because like I say, I have definitely got to keep an ear out for this washing machine delivery dude. If I miss the washing machine, I don't know what I'll do. I've been without a washing machine for 4 days and we're at critical laundry level here, people. It's going to start overflowing into the street soon. Herbie can last about a day in a school uniform before he needs to change it. Sorry, late. What is the colour underneath? So the base colour, which you can just see on the back of the legs here, that is drop cloth. So it's a warm off-white. It's like an antique colour, antique white colour, a warm off-white. And then the top colour is Honky Tonk Red, which is just covered all over in one coat, and it was watered down. So that's how good coverage that red is. It is by far the best, I can say this hand on heart, by far the best coverage red that I've ever used. It's seriously good, and it's punchy, and it looks ace with black wax, which is what I'll be doing next week, which leads me quite nicely on to saying goodbye, because I've got school run, washing machine man, and probably about 20 other things to sort out amongst tea and dog walks and all the rest of it. So I'm not going to keep you a second longer. It's been 34 minutes and 55 seconds, and I will see you next week. Tuesdays, Dixie Belle YouTube channel. Wednesdays, I'll be live back on here, trying to finish this up. Undecided whether I should put any stencil detail on here. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments if you think I should add some kind of folk art-y style stencil, like I did on my little wall shelf. Let me know. So thank you for watching. It's always appreciated. Everybody that tunes in, even on the replay, always massively appreciated. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.